I've noticed this whole trend on social media where people record videos in their car, so I'm going to try that today. I was asked on this long COVID awareness day to talk about what brings me hope. And I may be one of the more pessimistic people you'll meet, so I actually took this on as something of a personal project. And I was asked for a reflection in my capacity as a researcher and a clinician with some visibility out there in the world, but I won't talk about hope through these lenses because that's not where I find it. And while I may be a pessimist, ironically, I don't lack in hope for people with long COVID, ME/CFS, and other complex chronic conditions frequently associated with an infection. So you see, being hopeful takes a lot of work. It's an active process of challenging yourself every day to find a realistic upside. Sometimes it feels impossible and indefensible and lonely. And yet here people are with long COVID presented with this challenge every day. The first step to being hopeful, I think, is being honest. That keeps hope from being baselessly optimistic, untethered to reality. We're 5 years in. We have no approved cures. The scientific evidence base has not yet caught up with what our patients and their carers often know from lived experience. Much of the world has moved on. COVID-19 and long COVID have faded from the headlines. Now, some people might find these facts to reduce hope, but I think acknowledging them gives us permission to find the real things to be hopeful about. I find hope in the process. People who are earnestly trying to do better and to do the best work possible, even the people I don't agree with and may grouse about from time to time. I find hope in the community, our shared community of people living with long COVID in its many forms, the clinicians working to establish best practices, and the scholars who are working hard to understand more and to find cures. I find hope in both giving and receiving help. That vulnerability is part of our human condition, and it makes the world and the people in it worth saving. And I hope, at least in time, you can find hope in these things too.